Hello, I'm Sama Morningstar, Feminine Embodiment Queen and Womb Healing Specialist. And I have with me here today Rana, who has agreed to do a recorded womb healing session with me to help you, my beloved audience, to understand what might happen in a womb healing session if you were to sign up for one with me. So, Rana, would you please tell us why it is that you chose to have a womb healing session with me today?
Sure. Well, I actually got introduced to the magic and the power of the womb a couple years ago when I went through a really beautiful program where we really learned how to connect to her and really the importance of connecting and living from this womb space. However, I feel like there's there's I wanted to go deeper. I was inspired to go deeper. I feel there's a lot that my womb is holding on to that I want to clear. And also I've kind of been following Sama for a while, and I've been seeing all of the beautiful work that she does. And I was just really curious to explore this further with her and just to see what unfolds. I have no idea what to expect, so I'm really excited.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me with this, Rana. And so I have some questions I want to ask you to go deeper, like you said, into what it is that you feel in your womb, what inspires you to go deeper. So first of all, I would love for you to tell me about what would your ideal womb experience look like for you? And just imagine in your wildest dreams, how would you like to be living in relationship to your womb? How would you like your menstrual cycles to feel and be? How would you like your sexuality, your fertility to feel and be? And how would you like that to all of those things to be in relationship to the rest of your life? And I'm just inviting you to dream big and how you would like it to be, what you see as the ideal and the possible for you.
Okay. I would like to because I notice a huge difference when I live and operate from my womb versus my headspace. When I am in my headspace, I'm not very grounded. I sometimes even bump into things versus when I'm in my womb, I feel like I'm a different person. So, but sometimes I kind of forget to come home to her. So I think I would like to just for it to be just like my natural state, my natural essence. Also, you asked about the sexual. There, I have been experiencing some blocks sexually and I'm not really sure why, but I've kind of been shut off to really allowing myself to let go. I tend to be in my mind versus just allowing and really being in the moment in the experience. And that's been causing me a lot of stress and shame as well. You know, thinking I don't know what's wrong with me, what's happening. That's why I did mention that I feel like there is work to be done in terms of clearing, especially perhaps from past sexual partners. So I would like perhaps, yeah, to just to really come home and to feel that embodied connection to myself and to the pleasure and just really allowing myself to experience that.
Beautiful. So if you can imagine what it would be like for you in your day-to-day life, in your sexual encounters, and in your creative projects or other places in your life, your professional life, if you were to overcome these blockages or tendencies to get into your headspace and fully reside in your womb space, what would that look like? How would that present itself? Can you imagine in these areas of your life?
I feel like I would be a lot more grounded, a lot more connected to my body. Again, like when like as I mentioned, like when I'm not really connected to the space and I'm in my head, I tend to be like rush. Like I tend to be very in the masculine, and that's been draining me and burning me out. And like so, when I'm in that state, like I tend to walk really fast. I don't really pay attention to how I'm walking. I kind of just rushing to the next thing. Sometimes I even like bump into things because I'm just not paying attention. Whereas when I am in the womb, and so to me, what that looks like is feeling connected to my body, walking maybe a little bit slower, a little bit more sensually, but also still getting to where I need to. And for me, it also looks at just it's okay, here's another big one. For me, it's also about coming home to my center of power. When I am connected to my womb, I do feel like a powerful goddess. But then when I'm not, I do have the moments of feeling not good enough, feeling insecure, uh, projecting my self-worth and my self-value onto others, seeking that validation, versus when I am in the womb, I'm just like totally in love with myself, just totally know my worth, know the beautiful goddess that I am. And what else? Yeah, that's pretty much what comes forth right now.
Yeah, okay. And you had mentioned sexual blocks too. So I
Yeah.
can imagine, and I would love to hear you describe what you imagine would be how that being in your power, in your womb power, would would influence your sexual energy, whether that's in relationship with a partner or in your daily life, and how that might come to play in your life.
Okay. Um, I think it's a matter of helping me to be more present and giving myself the permission to be present. I tend to be in my mind, kind of like worrying about, like, oh, I have to get this done, I have to get this done. So I kind of tend to rush it versus understanding that, this is an act of self care and an act of self love and an act of pleasure that, like, I am worthy and deserving of receiving. So I think it also kind of ties into not really honoring and loving myself enough to give myself this gift. So to answer your question, I feel like it would help me just be less, like, just very present. So 100% in the moment, no matter where it unfolds, letting go of the expectations, letting go of just thinking. I want to be able to stop connecting to my mind and just being so embodied in the moment that I lose all time and space, just all connection to time and space, and I'm just there in the magic. And also, because I do understand the power of working with sexual energy and working with your Shakti energy, I feel like that would help me really play with the energies of sexual energy, especially to help it bring it forth into my creations, into what I'm desiring. So I guess to add, to kind of continue to the creation piece is, um, rather than trying to force and push and trying to like figure things out from this space, I feel like it will help me just organically um, allow the inspiration and the guidance and the creation to flow through again, versus trying so hard, trying to figure it out, and trying to do it just on my own.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So it sounds like what you're looking for, creating for yourself, is a balance between this powerful, and to bring it more into balance again, that the Shakti energy, or the feminine womb energies, that you want to spend more time in there,
Yes.
experiencing that, to balance out the time that you spend thinking, figuring things out, planning, setting things up, having a schedule, and like that. Um, would that be correct, that it would find a balance?
Yes, that, and I think the other big piece is the fact that I feel like I'm storing a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of shame in my womb.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like she's in need of just clearing, so I can kind of open her up and like release some of these blockages.
Okay, so that's great. So you have this insight that there is some pain, there's some trauma in there, and would you say that that is one of the reasons why you maybe don't connect there to the womb as much as you would like?
Um, I feel like that's more tied to the sexual piece. I feel like it's not, I don't feel that's the reason perhaps I don't connect to them. I think it's more I just forget, it's so
Yeah.
easy again, like just the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
It's sometimes hard to remember to, okay, breathe into the womb, slow down. There's certain times where perhaps if I'm in meditation or in ritual or something, it's easy to remember to, okay, ground. If I'm about to create a video or something, I do remember consciously to connect to the womb. But it's like it's become like a conscious, connect, versus like just it being my natural state all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, so I would like to hear more about the the trauma and what you feel needs to be cleared out of your womb. Um, for whatever you feel comfortable sharing about that, where did it come from? Is it old sexual partners? What happened in those relationships that made it traumatic? And does that pattern of trauma predate those relationships? When we start to look back at what patterns we might have learned from our parents or other adults that were influential in our early childhood, it can start to shine some light on what needs to be cleared and how far back. And then we can also, when we clear what's going on here for ourselves, because of the nature of womb healing, if we have our ancestral lineage of those similar trauma patterns in our awareness, then we can share that healing and bless our mothers, our fathers, our ancestors, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, as well as our descendants. So I would love for you to share a little bit about that, about where this trauma material has come from for you in your experience and in your history.
Okay. Well, in relationship to the sexual piece, I do come from a Middle Eastern upbringing. So in that culture, it is the sex, and it's just very, very suppressed. There's a lot of shame around that, a lot of guilt around that. So I didn't really necessarily grow up in an environment where I was taught to love my body, to feel comfortable in my body. I was actually taught to kind of shame my body. And so in terms of the lineage, I do feel there is a lot of suppression. And I notice that comes up for me personally. Although I do, again, understand the power of sexuality, I notice sometimes I do feel uncomfortable. I do feel uncomfortable perhaps when women over sexualize how they present themselves. It triggers something within me. Perhaps it triggers that the fact that I have suppressed it, and I know logically that there's no need to feel shame, but that shame, so shame is what's coming up. Shame is what's coming up. And I haven't endured like any like sexual abuse or anything like that. However, you know, I did have multiple partners in the past, and I do feel like there perhaps are still some cords and imprints between myself and them. So I feel like the womb maybe almost like just a lot of like confused energy. I did have perhaps some traumatic experiences sexually, but nothing like, again, it wasn't like abuse or anything like that. It was just perhaps more like guilt that I felt for allowing myself to experience this with a certain individual. So, yeah, I keep saying shame. So clearly that's a big one. So shame. um,
Okay.
that and then the other piece is I've just I feel like just a big chunk of my life I've experienced really sad depression and just sadness and a lot of anxiety. Um, I'm a very emotional being, so I tend to cry a lot and kind of get hurt a lot and give my power away a lot. So I do feel like a lot of those traumatic experiences I've endured throughout my life, with friends, with partners, I feel like perhaps that's been stored in here.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Okay. So what's coming up for me for this session is to do a guided meditation with you to begin the process of asking your womb to help you clear out some of these stored feelings and emotional patterns that you've either taken on from others or that are unresolved in you.
Okay.
And one of the powers of the womb that I teach people about, well, first of all, I'll just say that I practice what I call biomysticism. So we take the biology of the womb and look at the biology of the womb, and we know so much about that from science, and we just keep learning more with all the instruments to measure and see what's going on, and then say, oh, what does that mean symbolically for our emotional lives and our spiritual lives, and how can we activate that biology of the womb and ask that womb strength, that powerful womb biology, to translate itself and to support us in our emotional and spiritual lives as well. And so that turns into a very deep practice, a mystical practice even, and it's supported by the ancient mystical practices of womb worship. And because, if you look at the biology of the womb, to create new life, that deserves to be revered.
Yeah.
And that deserves for us to value ourselves so much for that power and value our bodies so much. So simply looking at the biology of the womb already starts to address some of the things that we've been taught about ourselves, that that we don't have value and all that. But wait a minute. We have the power to create new life. What are you talking about?
Right? Yeah.
So activating the biology of the womb in these emotional and spiritual realms is a very powerful practice. So I would love to lead you in a meditation to start looking at that, and the particular um, biological power that will work with and activate is the womb's power for differentiation. This will help with the clearing of any residual energies from lovers, from your family lineage that is excessive for what actually belongs to you, and differentiate what parts of that belong to you for you to work out and still work with because you have some kind of lesson or something that you're learning, and then what belongs to the old lovers, that you may have taken on, because that's another power of the womb, taking things on and holding them.
Yeah.
Even for other people, things that belong to other people. That's a powerful thing that the womb can do. And we're taught to do that a lot as women, but we're not taught how to then have discernment and use this other power of differentiation. So, when you think of how the womb carries a baby to term and then gives birth to the baby, you can see the power of holding someone else's stuff, right? You can hold the whole other person inside there until it's time to differentiate. And then the womb's wisdom knows how to separate the placenta from the wall of, and exactly when to do it too, right? Get the baby out, then the placenta separates, and what belongs to the mother stays with the mother, and what belongs to the baby goes with the baby. And the womb knows how to do that when it's in a healthy state. Okay?
Yeah.
So we can activate that womb power to help you clear that. So would you like to give that a try?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, she says. She's ready. Okay. So, and any viewers who would like to join in this meditation, you're welcome to do so as well. So we are going to take some deep breaths and feel our feet on the floor. And feel your sit bones and your bottom on the seat where you're sitting. And just taking some deep breaths and feeling your pelvis. You might even sway side to side, making some circles with your pelvis, just bringing your awareness through the breathing and the movement down into your pelvis. And you can take your hands and make what I like to call the yoni mudra. Well, it's called the yoni mudra, and I love calling it that. Where with your thumbs touching and your fingertips touching, and placing your thumbs on your navel and your fingertips on your pubic bone. And just feeling the space underneath that opening in your hands, which is the same shape and size as your womb. And deep breathing, bringing your breath down into your womb, feeling your belly expanding, filling with breath, being nourished with each inhale, and emptying, releasing with each exhale. And feeling as you breathe, the breath traveling from your throat all the way down to your womb, traveling through your sinuses, down your throat, through your chest, and all the way down to your womb, and then exhaling, feeling the breath traveling all the way up, back up through the center of your being from your womb and out your nostrils. And feeling the power of your breath to connect your womb with your heart and your insight, your third eye, the space in the center of your head, feeling your breath traveling through the center of your head, through your sinuses, down through your heart, down into your womb, and then back up. And noticing if you feel in your belly any places where it feels tight or contracted, or anywhere else in your body where these blocks or collections of shame or suppressed feelings may be stored. And I invite you to share with me where you feel that might be in your body and what it feels like.
In my womb, I feel that that feeling you feel of when you feel like you did something wrong, like almost kind of like the butterflies in my stomach, like that. Just it's always kind of like on edge. Just butterflies in stomach is the best way I can describe it. Mm-hmm. I do also feel just a lot of tension in like just my whole upper body, from my shoulders to my neck, even my face. It always feels very tight, and scrunched, and yeah.
Okay. And so I want you to go ahead and feel those butterfly on edge feelings in your stomach for a few breaths in your womb. And just bring your attention there. And ask your womb if there's any portion of this feeling that doesn't belong to you. And ask your womb to show you with an image or a sensation what portion of this feeling doesn't belong to you.
I get an image of my mom and my grandma.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a sense that there's a portion of those butterflies that belong to them?
Yes.
All right. And so now you can ask your womb to help you to separate out the portion of the butterflies or whatever other image you're associating with that feeling that belong to them, and bless them by giving it back to them so that their spirit can complete their learning process with it. And just notice what that feels like or looks like to be able to give back their portion of what you're holding.
Saw an image of a smile, a dove, and like hands kind of like going like this, like giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And how is your body feeling now?
Lighter, freer.
Where do you notice that lightness and freedom?
Feel it in my womb, but I also kind of feel it in my heart. Just really also my just kind of my whole being, but the heart came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
But in the womb too.
In the womb too. And now, is there any part of that feeling of edginess or butterflies that remains in your womb?
A little bit. Not as much.
Not much, but a little bit. And so I invite you to ask your womb if there's any part of that that remains that still doesn't belong to you.
I heard the collective.
The collective.
Getting emotional as we say this.
Yes.
Yeah. I just feel a lot of pain from the collective. Like just
Yes.
so much suffering.
Yes.
I see I've been holding on to that. Wow, okay.
Yes. And so asking your womb again to help you to differentiate the pain that belongs to the collective from what belongs to you to work with. And to help you release back into the collective what doesn't belong to you. Noticing what that feels like or looks like.
That's interesting. Part of me felt like kind of guilty for giving it back. I don't know.
Mm.
But it it feels liberating as well to have this awareness, helping me understand that a lot of the pain I've been holding on to is not necessarily just mine.
Mm-hmm.
And that I don't have to take this on for everyone anymore.
Mm-hmm. And so it's coming up to ask you to ask one more question of your womb in the light of this awareness. And that is there some way that you can be of service in healing the collective wounds without having to take it on in your body? Keeping your healthy differentiation, keeping the boundary between your sovereign individuality and the collective need. And you might not have an immediate answer, but just simply asking that question to stay activated in your power of differentiation and discernment.
I feel a lot of that. Collective energy it's for the collective, but it's also specifically towards the suppression of women throughout the centuries.
Yes.
So, and yes, I do have guidance on how I can serve.
Is there anything specific about that you would care to share? And you're welcome to keep it to yourself as well.
I recently started offering virtual sacred circles for women, and this is just really confirming that I'm on the right path and to continue that work as I see the depths of its power and why it's so needed right now. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of women, probably just like me, are carrying a lot of this pain and burdens of their family, of just people around them. So yeah.
Beautiful. So just taking another breath or two and just asking your womb if there's anything else that needs to be cleared or differentiated for you right now, released, that doesn't belong to you.
I'm seeing sexual partners, past sexual partners from this timeline and also past timelines. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so asking your womb to gather up and bundle up all the residue from those sexual partners. Whatever image helps you to do that.
A magnet.
A magnet. Letting this magnet be as strong as necessary to collect any residue from those past lovers, from the nooks and crannies in every corner of your being, in your womb or anywhere else in your body that they're hiding. Just taking a few deep breaths. With each inhale, imagining your inhale is the power of that magnet to draw that residue to itself. Just feel that magnet drawing that residue to it. And then when you're ready, asking your womb how to get that residue out of your body. Noticing what needs to happen to that magnet and that collection of residue to have it leave and go back to whomever it belongs to. And focusing your exhale on that releasing process, that leaving process, that returning process. Any movement or sound that you want to make. And thanking your womb for so readily participating and responding and being. And knowing that you can always activate and ask your womb for this type of help. If you ever feel anything that's not yours that you're holding on to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So just taking your hands and touching your legs, touching your chest, touching your face, opening your eyes, feeling your body, moving your body. Just allowing this to integrate. And I want to say that this is a powerful meditation, and it has the potential to help you create a powerful clearing. And if you notice, we asked the womb to help you differentiate between what was yours and what didn't belong to you, and that you could release. And that is a very initial first step in the womb healing process, because that's part of what makes womb healing feel so overwhelming, is because you go in there and there's everybody else's stuff and your stuff as well. And it just seems like too much. And so the first step is to say, okay, what doesn't belong to me that I don't need to be dealing with, and give that back to other people that it belongs to. But that doesn't mean that's it. That just means that now you can begin the process of looking at what does belong to you and what is part of your journey and your lessons for this life. And so that's the next step of how I support my clients, you or anyone else interested in embarking upon this journey, because there was a reason that we had that parental lineage. We are the answer to our ancestors' prayers. So in what does belong to me, what does belong to you, we can begin to apply our womb wisdom to achieve our creative purpose in our life and continue to bless our ancestors, continue to bless everyone we've had contact in as we heal our portion of whatever that stuff was, and send and radiate out blessings to all whom we've contacted and to all whom have participated in those patterns with us, and create new patterns and new blessings for our lives and everyone we touch. So how are you feeling now, Rana?
I feel a lot lighter. At one point, I was almost a little dizzy-headed, a lot of energy came forth. I was also, prior to this call, having like a really bad day, kind of feeling really sad. But now I feel a lot of love. I feel a lot more empowered. I feel like you helped me release a lot of energy, a lot of stuck energy that I've been holding on to. I also just feel lighter just by giving back to, the collective, or to my lineage, anything that wasn't mine. Because I feel like that's perhaps why I've been so overwhelmed all the time, because I'm trying to process for everyone, not even consciously. So I just feel renewed. I feel renewed. I feel a lot more, a deeper connection to myself, to my womb, and just, like a renewed sense of passion and purpose. And I feel a lot of like nurturing energy towards myself. And I feel a lot closer to my womb. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Rana, for joining me in this demonstration session. I'm so glad that it was beneficial to you, and I hope it was also beneficial to the viewers. And I just want to announce that I am offering several wonderful offers this week to be able to give more of this wonderful womb healing to you and to my audience. So I say you, Rana, and I'm also saying you, the viewers of this video. And I'm so excited to be offering that. I've extended the Heal Period Pain 5-day challenge. And so if you haven't participated in that yet, do let me know, and I will make sure I'm going to post the link underneath this so that you can sign up for it. Because if you sign up for it and participate and post a live video in the group here between now and the new moon, which is coming up, I think, it's the 23rd. So
23rd, yeah.
Saturday or Sunday. This weekend is the new moon. And so if you post a live video about your 5-day challenge, then there's 2 gifts available to you, free gifts. One is a free 1-month membership in a separate group that I have created for my paying clients called the Inner Sanctuary Support Circle. And it's a separate Facebook group where I have all of my videos and audio meditations that have been recorded over the years that I've been developing this work that you'll have access to. Plus, I'll be doing live video trainings and meditations and workshops throughout the whole month in that group, starting on the new moon. So you'll get free access to that just by going live about your Heal Period Pain 5-day challenge experience. And these Heal Period Pain courses are great for anyone who has ever had period pain or still currently has period pain. And it's not just physical pain, it could be emotional pain. If you notice that throughout your menstrual cycle that there's certain times when you feel that sadness or that depression or that overwhelm more so than other times, even if you don't have cramps or anything like that. We're going to really get into working with some of those energies and releasing them in similar ways that we did here today. And then the other free gift, if you go live in the Luna Wave group, is, I'm having a little pause there for a moment, is yes, I'm having a 30-day heal period pain sadhana. And the other free gift is a second one-to-one session. You already get, if you sign up for the sadhana, it's $180. You get a session included with me and the 30-day membership in the group. And if you do the going live, sign up for the sadhana, then you get a second session in addition to the one that you already get. So there's these two great free gifts available. I really hope you'll join us for the 5-day period pain challenge and the 30-day heal period pain sadhana. So those are the two things that I wanted to share with you and let you know about. And I hope to see you there. And thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time.